Good morning, class.
Morning.
What do you think are we going to discuss today if you look at all the stuff in front of you?
I don't know.
We're going to discuss archery and the history of archery. It's on page 11.
Okay.
Archery has two main components, which historians figured out from the start. It has a push and a pull action.
Sorry. The what? Push and pull. What is going to be pushed and what is going to be pulled?
The handle of the bow is going to be pushed,
Okay. I see.
but the string needs to be pulled from the
What
past.
is a string? What is a string?
I just told you. Come on. Just ask him again.
So what is a string?
A string is the main component which a bow consists of.
Oh.
If you don't have a string for any component which push
Just stay.
over a problem,
Yeah, I think there's a problem.
No.
what's the problem?
Amanda is going to stay in the class. And I can't-
Amanda?
I'm not disturbing the class. I was
What's
just
wrong?
looking to this equipment and I want to know what this is.
I'll come, I will get to that stuff, but if you in a hurry, just tell me.
Man, I don't think she's even interested.
I am interested.
I don't think you're interested.
I am interested. What do you
Because
know?
if-
I'm
Don't argue,
interested.
don't argue. If you're not,
Sorry, sir.
if you're interested more in the archery factor, come afterwards and ask me the questions. But if you're not interested, you can leave my class.
I'm not
Right.
going to do that. I'm not leaving anyway. I have a right to be in this class. So I know.
Yes, but the other learners has also the right to be in the class.
Other
A disruptive learner are usually excluded from a lesson so that the teacher can have a fluent lesson with the rest of the learners. However, nowadays, education are more focused on integrating inclusiveness into the system. So what is inclusive education? Inclusive education is a term that has many different meanings and which are based upon institutions' viewpoints. For instance, inclusive education is defined as inclusiveness of educators, where they will accommodate learners with various disabilities or impairments inside a normal classroom. These learners are commonly known to have special needs. Furthermore, inclusion is defined as an education system that takes all kinds of learners into consideration. Therefore, it provides for each learning style of an individual in the classroom. Inclusive education recognizes the background of the individual and the cultural difference amongst the learners. Furthermore, it reinforces the curriculum to suit the needs of each child when it comes to education. The overall education system strives to create more winners than losers.
And to make some archery equipment to prepare for us. This is a stabilizer. You need to prepare and build up equipment. This must come on this side. In a ring, you must just
Okay, what do we use this for?
it's a weight. It's stabilized the just hold on. Amanda, please come here. And leave please. This is
you want to use this also?
yes, but you're going to first build up the side.
Okay.
The side is the most important piece of the bow. You need to loosen this part, and I see this is already loosened. So
And then
then you need to push that open. and get over that teeth.
Okay, so this part and this part should be loosened, right, sir?
Yes,
And then I push this one
Yes.
open in order to put this in.
yes.
Okay, so I put this in this way.
No, turn it out in this way.
Okay.
Like a push. There.
I'm done with
And put
this
it on
one.
4. Come back to your verse. Well, you asked me what it verse is. Verse is a stabilizer. It's to stabilize the bow when you shoot. It's the newest equipment which our school have and which the competition actually use. Thank you that you went on and built this part, and that I see you finished with that part also.
Yes.
Now, just
Which side?
this part.
Okay.
Now, do I get this to 4?
4. It's still too tight. It must be loosened. Then you just pull, you see?
Okay.
Just pull it open and push it till 4.
Straight on to 4, right?
Yes.
Okay, have it on 4.
Thank
And
you.
then, should I tighten it again?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Now the last part will be that you must use that piece of key and put it in there.
On this
Together
side, right?
on this side, in this opening here.
Okay. The lower opening.
Yes, the last one. Sit there.
Okay. Alright.
Well done.
Thank you. But sir, I still don't understand what does this and what does this have to do with the whole thing?
This
What is
stabilize-
this thing again?
This is the bow,
The bow.
the competition bow.
Okay.
This stabilize the bow that you don't spiral out of control when you shoot.
Okay.
But this is the side to aim for the shooting, especially this red PCR,
Okay.
which uses the eye control. Actually, you can call it the eye control,
Yes.
where you can look through it and see if it's on the point you want to shoot, and you shoot there.
Okay.
Understood.
The moment that the teacher gives attention to the problematic learner, he automatically reinforces what is expected from him, which is outlined in a document called the White Paper 6. White Paper 6 are one of the most important documents which an educator can have because it provides a general guideline on what inclusive education is and how it can be promoted in the classroom. The first role of the White Paper 6 is to uphold the fundamental right to education through quality and equality of learning and non-discrimination towards various extrinsic and intrinsic barriers. Secondly, White Paper 6 also focuses on transformation of the education system to create a caring and human space for learning while accommodating the range of diversity, which could be cultural, socioeconomic, and mental diversity that is present in a classroom, and the mechanisms that should be put in place for the transformation.
In a soft way still, but it's strong. Because if you're going to, I'm going to put myself in danger now, but this is the pull action because it pulls. Nee? This arm push. When he pulls this side, pulls, nee? This arm pull, push. And that makes the whole bow actually function as a unit.
So basically the push and the pull action happen simultaneously.
Yes. Thank you for noticing that.
The way in which a teacher undergoes transformation in order to handle a certain situation in his or her classroom all has to do with their identities. Educators' identities can be distinguished between professional and personal. The identities of a teacher are shaped by the teacher's consciousness about themselves and also the social structure around them. The one aspect which has an influence on a teacher's professionalism is emotions. The expression of emotions is remarkable and reflects a lot on who the teacher is and how he or she will be. That will make them also able to manage their profession. In most cases, teachers are not allowed to show certain emotions, as it will or may damage their professional reputation, and they are thus limited to certain emotions, like love. This has a huge influence on their teaching because the teacher might appear cold, distant, and inapproachable towards some of the learners. The second aspect of a teacher's personal identity is their gender. Depending on the gender, the teacher will act as an educator and as a strict, loving mother or father figure towards learners. This will make learners feel that they belong in the class and that they might start to being encouraged to do their schoolwork. Another aspect that influences both personal and professional identities are the cultural and religious background of a teacher. It might influence the way the teacher structures his or her group work between his or her learners based on what beliefs they grew up with on gender. It might shape the teacher's view on how girls are supposed to appear in their school uniforms or how boys are supposed to look or act. Secondly, the teacher will favor a religious sessions with his or her learners every morning for a few minutes. Furthermore, it might also influence the teacher's professional appearance to be either Western professionally clothed or cultural professionally clothed. It might also influence the type of extramural activities that the teacher wants to become involved with. It is important for the teacher to know the learners in his or her classroom so that it can be easier for them to identify if there are any barriers to learning present in the classroom. An identity barrier is a barrier between an educator and a learner with disabilities. This barrier can appear through lack of teaching experience and time management. Because of improper planning, some students can be left out in the classroom and some of their needs are not provided for, and therefore some school policies state that if the classroom goes over a certain number of students, they need to appoint an assistant to help the teacher with their duties. Teachers must be educated on how to be flexible teachers and how they must manage and control the class. Furthermore, they must know how to behave towards learners with various barriers, which could include physical or mental education, so that they can provide a more efficient way of learning, and also lastly, to improve the content in an education or inclusive education atmosphere.